The long song. Woo!
All right. Welcome, everybody.
It's a good intro song. I like that one.
What's up, Jim? How are you tonight? As you all know, we've got Mid-States Live with Brian Hetrick tonight. He's in the background just beautifying a couple last things here for us before we bring him on. So he's out in the green room. We'll talk a little bit about this weekend's past shows out in Hastings, Mason City, and of course the Capital City show in Topeka, along with whatever else you guys want to talk about. But our main focus tonight is going to be Brian. It's going to be a little bit different. We've tried this before, and it didn't go so well. No thanks to anybody but technology's fault on that one. But tonight we're ready to go. We want lots of questions. We want lots of everything tonight. So let's get into it. If you wouldn't mind giving us a like and subscribe right there on the YouTube. But again, we've got Brian Hetrick here. Let's get this one off, and then we'll go right there. Let's get into it.
All right.
First of all, I heard Mason City was unbelievable. It was super busy.
Nice.
Busier than their Christmas show. So
nice.
That's awesome to hear. Probably Jim could probably give some input on that.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
I think it went really, really well from what I heard. Hastings went well also, and there was some good stuff found there as well. And of course, we had a great time down in Topeka. The Capital City folks were awesome hosts as usual. This was our second time down there. They do have a new show coming up in, I believe it's September 20th. Look for them to put out some info. And of course, once we get it, we'll share it out here. Brent, what did you think of this weekend?
I thought it was a great time for one, obviously. I mean, toys, I'm happy. But, getting out to the new place that we'd never been, we were in a new location, so that was new to me. And I finally got to try the burger bus. Definite thumbs up on that. Just great deals, great people. It was a great show. I found some really cool stuff. Very happy with my finds. I actually brought a couple of them down to show here while I was talking about it, just because they're already open, so I can't open them any farther. But like, this was one of my grabs from the show. It's the Screaming Plymouth Arrow funny car in green, and it's in perfect condition. So finding this is really hard, but in great condition. And even for $10, I was happy. And I couldn't buy one without the other one, so I went ahead and bought the red one as well. And again, the price tag fell off this one, but it did match the other one. So there was a couple of my finds from the Capital City show. I mean, you're talking mint Blackwall era from what, like the 70s, I want to say, when these ones came out.
Early 80s, late 70s, probably.
Yeah, so you're talking like 77, 79 to 80. These cars are older than I am, and they are in way better condition. So, but yeah, those were a couple of my finds. It was just a great overall show. Like I said, great hanging out. The Capital City crew definitely knows what they're doing. They had a great turnout, and they said it was a great show. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about it. It was a great show. Different vendors. You had everything from MATCHBOX to Red Lines to Blackwalls to, NFTs to just, when you name it, it was there. So it was definitely a good show. I'm very happy. Awesome. What was your experience with it?
I think overall the hospitality was one of the things that I liked the most. Definitely 2 thumbs up for the burger bus. Lived up to the reputation and expectations. got to hang out and talk with some folks and really get to know some of the guys from the club a little bit better. As always, Jamie, Brian, Buck, them guys, and Rainey, especially Rainey, just
Yep.
knocked it out of the park. Slammin Race Systems was there as well, and his shop is just exploding. So that was cool to see them come up. I think they're from Wichita as well. They had a great time and put on their awesome track. It kind of just back and forth like a switchback on a mountain. So it was really cool to see that.
I think it's like five
as
and a
well.
half feet, almost 6 feet tall, and it just goes and loops back and keeps going and goes all the way down to the floor. Then they shoot out onto the floor. So it's a really neat track.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was really cool. So if you get to see them or get to check them out, he also makes his own tracks as well. So if you were to get in touch with them, you'd be surprised what they could do for you.
Most definitely.
Okay, so I wanted to say that we've been trying to get your brother on now for a couple of years now.
Yeah, something like that. He's, for one last time that we actually did attempt this, his internet crashed. But, internet, that's nothing new for us. Since then, he has upgraded the internet, I believe, and his cell phone. So we should be good to go this time. And I'm kind of excited because what you see behind me and what you'll see behind him are two different animals. So it's kind of neat. There's a couple overlappage, but for the most part, we collect two different things. So it's kind of neat. So I'm kind of excited for everybody to see this one.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I learned when researching this over the last couple of days is just how different your guys' collections are. And it was pretty impressive to see that. And when I was preparing the questions, I could tell I didn't hit everything either. So I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. You type like a madman.
I know. I'm trying to do both here, and it's not really working.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll work through it. We always do.
Let's bring Brian on now, if you're ready. Oh, there we go. There's the thumbs up. Let's make him the man in the middle, so to speak. All right, Mr. Good, Brian. Right. How are you tonight?
So thank you very much.
Awesome. For those of you who don't know Brian, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Brent's older brother. Lived in Omaha majority of my entire life. Mechanical background. Father of two kids. Pretty awesome. Married. I mean, just kind of your normal average guy anymore, I guess. Just an old dad, I guess.
Nice. Okay, so we'll get into this now. And again, if you got questions, guys, put them out there. We want to make this as interactive for you as it is for Brian. So first question up is, how did you get started in the hobby or the collecting?
Well, it's always kind of been a thing where I've always loved cars. We grew up in a car family. We grew up in a racing family. We grew up in a car show family. It's been ingrained into our everything per se. And I kind of got into the collecting thing just accidentally, really. Was actually working at Huber Chevrolet at the time when it really kicked in. Working in there, met some great contacts, and started the NASCAR plunge. But before that, I collected very little on Hot Wheels, but at the same time, I didn't get rid of a lot of stuff. So I've got like a G.I. Joe collection, I've got a Transformers collection. We had other collections over the years, per se, that have, either gone to other people or disappeared, or just I might even be at Brent's house probably.
I don't know. Depends on
So
what you're referring to. Depends on what
I
you're
don't know
referring
either.
to.
But no, it just kind of, partly just kind of took off. I kind of got the bug. Started small, and then next thing I knew, it was like, oh, okay, we're in this, and we're in this deeper than I thought it would be. And then it kind of ventures out a little bit here and there. And as I'm looking around, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So
Gotcha. You talked about the Transformers and the GI Joes, but within your diecast collection, what's your primary focus?
primary focus is always probably going to be NASCAR to some point. It's always been what I've always collected. NASCAR wise, the 124 scale has just been, it's been what I've collected for 35, 40 years now, probably.
Nice.
It's just been, it's everything. And it's at times of my life, just like in everything else, collections slow down and build up, and the momentum of what you build them changes over the years. And so, but it's always been the NASCAR. But at the same time, you're walking through the aisles and you see a Hot Wheel and it looks pretty cool, and you take it, and then that snowball starts to build at the same time as your NASCAR snowball is rolling, and then the wife comes in and says, yeah, you need to put one of your snowballs away. So, Hot Wheels goes away for a while, NASCAR took back over, and so now the Hot Wheels have the NASCAR has kind of slowed down a little bit. I guess you could say the Hot Wheels have kind of picked back up in the snowball effect a little bit. So it's a little give and take.
Gotcha. Okay, so James wants to know who is your favorite driver, and have you been to many, I'm assuming, NASCAR tracks? I know the drag strip is a little bit different.
No, I've been to the drag strip. I've been to, obviously, Scribner and a couple other ones that are on I-80 and stuff like that. Well, Scribner's not around anymore. But my favorite driver is Dale Jr. or Dale Sr. Earnhardt. Those are going to be my drivers. Currently, I don't have a driver. I guess I could say if I had a current driver, I know this will turn a lot of stomachs, but it might be actually Kyle Busch.
I knew it.
A lot of people just cannot figure that out, but there's a lot of similarities in an old original Earnhardt and what I see at Kyle at times. So it's one of those situations where I see some of that, but I'm primarily rooting for the older guys per se. Obviously, like Truex last year, I rooted for Harvick for a couple years after Junior retired. So, but NASCAR tracks, I've been to Kansas now, 8 or 10 times now, I want to say. Let's see, I've been to Indianapolis. I've been to Daytona. Well, that was on vacation. I didn't get to make the race to Daytona, but I mean, I have obviously the wish list of tracks are endless per se, of like Bristol and like Bristol night races, or Darlington, and there's some races that tracks I'll never get to go see, other than maybe if they have an open night or something like that, because NASCAR doesn't go there anymore. So I'd like to go see some different NHRA tracks as well, but it's NASCAR.
Gotcha. Good question, Jim. All right. Who has helped you the most with your collection?
Well, it might be that guy sitting on the other side of me here. He's helped out quite a bit. So, no, that way over there. That guy over there.
Me?
So, yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's helped fuel the fire, let's say, for the Hot Wheels side snowball, per se, to build over the years. Other than that, obviously, probably be my mom. She's helped out over the years when couldn't have to, didn't need to. And
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is always good. Birthdays, even though that I'm old enough now to where I don't need things for my birthday, but yet somehow I still get a card randomly inserted into my wife's purse per se, and next thing I know, I have a birthday card that I didn't. So, God bless her, love her to death, and so, and then probably it's gonna be my wife. Just allowing me to continue to enjoy collecting what I do collect on the scale that she allows me to collect. How about that? Obviously I don't have the enormity per se that either one of you guys have. But in my end of the world, it's a little bit. It's a decent sized collection. So, but there's been many different people over the years, different stores, different vendors, different online folks. Like I said, originally I worked at Huber. There was a guy there by the name of what was his name? Greg, I believe his name was. He's the one that kind of got me started into the NASCAR side. I mean, I always enjoyed watching NASCAR, especially back in the '70s or in the '80s and stuff like that as a kid. But then in the early '90s and stuff like that, when I worked there, I really kind of discovered the diecast side of it, and it went bad. It went bad fast, and then like over the years when they boarded up per se, and I quit working there and stuff like that. I would say maybe like Gene's Toys over in Mall of the Bluffs. Gene was a great person over many, many years that helped me to acquire different things, and just keep and had like that one last place in the Midwest where you could actually get something. Because, honestly, other than your stores per se, there's not a lot of places to collect diecasts unless you're doing it online or you're, for example, it used to be like the RCCA collection, which was the racing champion, whatever. Action had one, different people had one, and you could be involved in their mailing list, and you could get their flyers that had all the special limited editions, blah blah blah. But by the time that made it to your mailbox in Nebraska, the folks already in South and North Carolina and on the East Coast already bought everything up, so you were just getting whatever was left. So yeah, but definitely a lot of people. But I would say my brother, my mom, my wife. Those would be the three main people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's true with a lot of us as well. Nick's wanting to know, as far as your Hot Wheels collection, what is your favorite casting that you've collected over the years? And is there anything that you've ever fought over with Brent?
I don't have to fight anything over on Brent because, well, I'm the older brother and I have what I want. I mean, I don't have what I want, but at the same time, we didn't really collect the same things. He liked certain cars. I liked other types of cars. And then when I took it to the NASCAR side, we never really blew together. The only time we'd ever really argue is when we both got, like, Mom would do the holidays and you got 2 packs of this and you got 2 packs of that. And then, no, that was mine. Well, no, that one's mine. That one's coming with me. But for me, it's going to be the Purple Passion is going to be one of my favorites of all time. And then the 8 Crate is my other favorite person. I've really enjoyed the 8 Crate. I think it's a great casting. I love it. I also enjoy like older castings. Let's say like the Roger Dodger, and even something like the Street Stalkers and the older NASCAR themed body styles like the Thunderbird, the T-Bird. They came out with so many different one of those. The Buicks, the Regals, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and the one thing that we kind of did back in the day was we kind of worked together because he was big into the GI Joes at the time, and I was pretty big into like the micro machines. Well, Mom would let us get like either micro machines or GI Joes. So we kind of teamed up, and it was like, all right, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm getting this one," and then he'd hand me a GI Joe, like, "You get this one." And then the next time we'd go to the store, I'd get my because it was my turn. So then I found a 5 pack of Micro Machines, and I'm like, "Here, you get this one." So we kind of worked with each other pretty well back in the day, even though we were brothers. We didn't get along all the time, but
Well,
we
you're
we
not
get
supposed to get along all the
no,
time.
no, you're not. And one thing that I do remember is, and I have to walk across the room here to grab it because it took me forever to get one, but Mr. My nephew, Mr. Gavin, we were trying to get him into Hot Wheels at one point, and it worked pretty well for quite some time. And I had bought a 9 pack that had this really, really pretty um, bubble top in it, this nice pink shade here. And I had left it in there because I'm like, I'll just kind of whoop, when Gavin's not looking. Well, Gavin opened it up, and somebody else whooped it before I could whoop it.
Yes.
so so then
As soon as I saw that one, I whooped that one up pretty good. There's a few others that I've snaggled from his collection, but now the nice thing is Gavin's gotten older, and so he's now into the video games, and he plays select baseball and stuff like that. So I have this wonderful assortment of Hot Wheels that have been gently used per se. That I've now reacquired, and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all of those. As my wife would say, just get rid of them. So I know.
I'm just saying, I mean,
Maybe
but
we can find some trading points here and there.
I don't know what I have that you don't have that you want. That's going to be
We'll talk about that. I'm sure there's some things we can do.
well, now I'm worried, but
Candy Striper.
No,
Don't want it.
no, that one's not going anywhere.
Jim wants to know, he goes, I've kind of given up on NASCAR just for the fact that I don't like the stages. He's wanting to know what your opinion is on the stages. So we'll let you.
I don't really like the stages either. I'm an old school guy of just drop the green flag and let it go. I mean, the cars are, the whole aspect of it was, it's not designed to run stages. It's designed to run. Like when you did like the Coca-Cola 600 or Daytona 500 or even Bristol, you had to build the cars to last, whether that was engine, chassis, components, driver, all those different things. And so, if you didn't get it right, you missed the setup, you fell behind. And if you got it right, you were able to come back on a caution or something, fantastic. If not, you kind of just fell back, and that's the way it was. You tried better the next week. So I don't like all the stage points. I think it's it kind of convolutes it a little bit, makes it messy per se. It's harder for people to. It's almost like there's 3 races now instead of 1 race. There's the first stage, second stage, and let's dash for the checkers per se, which works for like when they did the all-star races and stuff like that. But on a regular race, I'd rather see them drop it and let's see where it goes from there.
Okay, perfect. We're talking about collections and whatnot. And it is your NASCAR and Hot Wheels collection, is it 50-50, or is it lean one way or the other to having a little bit more in terms of numbers, if you know?
Well, numbers wise is kind of hard because NASCAR wise, I mean, you're looking at a size, you're obviously, everybody knows your Hot Wheel size, and we've got our Hot Wheels here, an older one per se, but that's our 164 scale. I actually collect 124 scale, so it's a little bit bigger in scale. So it's harder to say that you have 2,000 of these and yet you have 500 or 600 of these. But, also at the same time having NASCAR Hot Wheels, and they, Action made a whole bunch of different Hot Wheel related per se, or 164 size scale cars. So I have a boatload of those as well. So I mean, it's a pretty good number. It's probably a little bit more on the Hot Wheel side, volume wise, but collection wise, it's more NASCAR per se.
Okay, perfect, perfect. That's a great answer.
Hmm.
Moving on, uh, what advice would you give to a new collector?
Run. Run. No. Start small. Start within your means. Start within your abilities. Just because you go to a show and oh my God, there's tables everywhere and there's Hot Wheels everywhere, and you go to the store and oh my God, well, depending on what store you go to, there's maybe nothing hanging. Um, but start and collect within your means. Start small. Find something that's your niche per se. If you like if you like 8 crates, stay with those. Or if you like that body style of car, those late 50s, early 60s body styles, stuff like that, stay with that. And then as you get into it, per se, is either as money allows, or as time consumption allows, or in some cases as display ability allows. Because nobody wants to, I mean, I hear it from a lot of people, whether it's NASCAR wise or Hot Wheel wise, but if you leave it in the closet and you don't get it out, 9 times out of 10, you'll get out of it a lot faster. Just because it's not out there, you don't actually collect it per se. Because if you collect something, you want to display it. You want to put it out there because you're proud of it. You want to
Hmm.
be able to say "Yep, this is what I got. This is what I have per se." And, whether you get to show it to just a few collectors or on a platform like your guys's or something along those lines, you may never know what the guy next door actually has.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a really unique way to look at it. I never really thought of it like that before, and that's pretty sound advice. I think that would probably keep a lot more people in. You know, I mean, everything that you mentioned is very true, especially on the space portion of it. I mean,
Well, I mean, you see it a lot. I mean, especially like with my stuff. It's like I know several collectors that they have their entire collection at the top of their closet, and they
Hmm.
don't. It never gets out. They never see it, and then they're going through the closet like, oh God, what am I going to do with all of this? And then they sell it per se. And depending on what you collect and from where it is and demand and time of day and constellations, you might not make nothing back on what you've collected into it. Whether you're collecting for the money or the resale value, don't get into it to try to make money or resell because you're not collecting, you're just selling. If you're collecting, you collect to hold on to, you collect to build something that you're proud of, you enjoy. You can take the time to go down and look at it, like, dude, that's freaking cool. Or you want to show it to your buddies. That's for me, that's collecting. Other than that, if you're just putting it over in a corner and turning around to flip it or put it on the internet or something like that, then you're just selling your next money.
Amen to
gotcha.
that. Amen
Yeah.
to that.
All right. And Brent, if you want to hop in and ask any of the questions, just let me know and hop in there.
Well, that would require me to have other things done by now, but I didn't do because, let's see here. Give me just a second here, and then we can. Let's see. What was the one that I wanted to see here? All right, where was
I don't
that?
know. None of them.
No, there
All
was
of
one.
them.
There was one really good one that I wanted to. When I read it, I laughed. Where did it go? I'm like super close to the screen right now. Oh, here we
Let me
go.
count the lines. One,
Hey, 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 hey. So, who kept the cars in better
Oh,
condition, you
oh,
or me?
me, because who was younger, who played with his cars more? You did.
Yeah,
Now, granted, yes, you do have some more cars per se, but
maybe.
I also did a better job. I mean, look at the GI Joe collection I have. Look at the
Oh,
other things that we collected over the years per se, and you have your micro machines, but that's still part of your Hot Wheels per se. And but that's just my own personal opinion, I
no,
guess.
and the funny thing is I actually agree with you because, uh, you know, because you have the 48 car count, Kates, just like I do, but yours are like in mint condition, and all the cars inside are in mint condition. Whereas in mine, like you said, they went out and I took them outside and played with them in the dirt, and Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah, a couple of them got chip or two in them, but for me, like I'm pretty happy with the condition that they're in, even though that they went into the dirt and things
Oh,
like
there's
that.
nothing wrong. Are you talking about like these?
Yes, yes, those, yes, in those mint cases that because mine are red and his were black. So, but yeah, he has, and he has cars that I don't have. So
Which is surprising.
this is very true. But you actually have a decent amount of cars that I don't have. So
Which I don't understand sometimes because I always
How did
felt
that
like,
happen?
well, see, that's weird because a lot of my collection stayed at my mom's house when I first moved out and did different things. And I got to hand it to him. He didn't pilfer as
nope,
much as I figured he might have over the
I did
years.
not. I didn't take a single car.
Oh, I mean, and I pull out little stuff every now and then, and I'm like, wow, I'm
Eh,
surprised I still have that. Or like,
maybe one or two
oh,
disappeared,
I'm
but
sure there's more than one or two that are missing. So, yeah, no, there's definitely quite a few over the years that have, he's always, man, I wish I would have grabbed that at one point when you weren't around. When you were off to college, I wish I would have grabbed this or blah, blah, blah. And then, but it's funny though, because I'll be walking through, I'm like, that car looks vaguely familiar on that wall back there. Oh, no, no,
no,
no, no, no. Oh,
no.
okay.
I don't think I have. The ones that I know I have of yours are not on the walls. So,
Okay. All
but
right.
they are here. I do know they're
Well,
they're
I hope
main
they'd
they're
be
they're
there. Where else would
they're
they be unless you sold them?
no. We all know I don't sell anything.
You and me both for some weird reason.
But no, I'm referring to like the semi trucks and stuff. I have a few of yours, so
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I kind of started collecting my semis a little later in life per se. That
hmm
was after the Earnhardt retired. I found little niches where I went out and picked up different things.
yeah. And I even got to add the what was it the Dale Senior slot car semi truck to your collection.
Ah, yes, I do have that over there in the cave. I
Yeah,
forgot.
that one was cool. I remember that now.
Now I just wish I had a slot gun track I could play it on.
Yeah, well, those are
Wait,
a
I have
lot.
two. Hold on a second. I have that one. That's that other. No, it's the wrong size, wrong scale. Hold
Yeah,
on.
well,
Anyway,
something to hunt for.
there's always
Always
something.
something to hunt for.
Definitely.
Always
Okay,
something.
so speaking of your NASCAR castings, and you've talked about it a little bit already. So let's get down to it. Which do you like better? Do you like the? I've got a couple here, so we'll just
Oh,
put
this should
them
be
up.
entertaining. What's Kent got? Let's see.
Okay. Do you prefer the Matchbox of the 90s,
Okay.
the Hot Wheels of the late 90s, and you've already shown like Car Tomorrow RCCA cars, or do you prefer like the mid to late 90s RCCA cars, like the Elites and things like that?
Being a 124 scale guy, it's going to be the late 90s and early 2000s elites and stuff like that. I feel like that's when cars were made their best, especially the elites themselves. The amount of detail that you get out of an elite versus a standard per se is night and day difference. Uh, it's crazy because over the years you would think things would get better per se in the NASCAR world, but with only having very few vendors and manufacturers per se, you kind of got what you got, and you kind of did throw a fit when they kind of figured, well, we're gonna make things a little bit cheaper, especially when Lionel took over.
Yeah,
Uh,
those got sketchy.
I mean, they're a plastic card to me anymore, and
Yeah,
it's uh, uh, it is. I mean, you'd have to give me a few minutes. I can make a quick dash and I can show you some examples per se. But I don't have very many of the new ones at all.
hmm
Most of the new ones, I think the last new diecast from NASCAR that I bought was probably a 2017, maybe a
wow.
2018. I don't think I've bought anything new since then. Now there are some that I do some that have been released that I do want to go find. They started making a really great dirt track line, because
Mm-hmm.
popular drivers, let's say like Junior and Harvick and other people like that, started to get, after they retired, they started to do some ARCAs and dirt racing stuff like that. And so the demand for those diecast cars have, hey, let's make this platform, let's make this mold, and we're selling these cars in limited numbers. The other issue was the volume per se of what made over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Like your 1/64 scale Hot Wheel size diecast car, the one you showed. Yeah, well, no. Go back, Kent. The one you held up before, the Hot Wheels version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the petty version.
Yeah.
Yes. So literally, they made enough of those, like every single Hot Wheel car that you see on the pegs today nowadays. There was literally they were everywhere, and they were so flooded that you can literally, you go to a show and there's a guy that's got 3 tubs of them underneath, and he's trying to sell them for $0.25 because nobody wants them. They
Mm-hmm.
weren't. They were Hot Wheel scale made per se. They had some detail, but at the time, Action made a much better 1/64 scale. So you were buying. Oh, that's 120. Oh, you have. Oh, do you have a crash card? Okay, very nice.
This is the OG crash car, Elite.
That's the Elite. Okay, all right. I've got me an Elite over here too. Hold on. Oh, that's a
Who's
silver plate. Okay.
who got the lower number? Oh, here we go.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
It's the only one that I could get like close without having to like dig. But yes, you are correct. The detail level on
You got an
those.
8414. What do you got?
Mine was 46 something.
Ooh, you got me beat.
46.59.
There we go.
There you go. If you were really worried about numbers, that'd be one thing. I don't care about numbers.
Right?
Yeah, neither
If
do
I
I.
chase numbers, I'd be broken and not married.
But yeah, that's a great car. That crash car is cool. But yeah, you're right. When you were talking about the level of detail on the action cars, especially, I mean, even on the 1/64s, they're way more detailed.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I know I've got a couple of them.
You're right.
I mean, you've got,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, you could get them where the bodies would actually separate. They were actually sold. I don't think, this one isn't one of those, but they were sold in a way where it was a 2-piece car, where the body came off and you had the actual detailed roll cage and chassis and everything like that. Bless, I'd have to find one. But then at the same time, you had Winter Circle, pretty much very similar to that. You had the Winter Circle brand where they came out with a card and you had the Earnhardts and stuff like that. And this was more of a NASCAR. Hot Wheels was more of a branded towards drivers that didn't want to go with Action and Winter Circles and stuff like that. So you had a lot of the Petties, a lot of Mark Martin, Roush drivers, different things like that would go to that Hot Wheels side because, well, Hot Wheels has to be for kids. So you can't have your Budweiser sponsored car on a Hot Wheel because, well, that just doesn't sell.
It's the only one I have.
Oh, look at this. Everybody's pulling out all the toys tonight. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is the only.
That's a standard.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm not a collector of these, but this is the only 1/24th senior car I have, and I don't have any junior ones either. So but
like,
yeah, I have one at
get
least.
all the way back, like to where Racing Champions. This is the way they came out way back in the day. This is probably your mid 80s per se.
Early 90s.
Yep, early 90s, late 80s. Where Bill Elliott's a young man in that photo. That's in the 80s.
Well, no, because that's like 91 because that's when he started driving for Junior and when he was driving the Budweiser car.
Yeah, you're right. This would have been a Budweiser car. That's for also why you see there's no Budweiser on that when it should be an 11 Bud car. So you are correct.
It doesn't happen very often when I'm talking with Brian on NASCAR stuff because he's
okay. It happens.
pretty good with it.
Right all the time. Don't want to be a professional at anything.
Well, this is true. All right. What do you like about collecting overall? What brings you? What's the joy in it for you?
Well, for me, um, being able to the hunt per se, that's always a good thing. The ability to try to track down those missing pieces that you don't have, or the stuff that, for me, over the years I missed out on a lot of different stuff, and so it's trying to go back and acquire some of that stuff that you've missed, or trying to hunt for those grail pieces, say like prototypes, or different things like that, or very specified pieces. Door numbers were a huge thing. So let's say like on an Earnhardt car, when they came out with serial numbers, let's say on Elites and stuff like that, for you to get a number 3 for a serial number on an Earnhardt car, your value just went through the roof. You hit the lottery per se.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of those door numbers on that older stuff went to the driver. Because if the driver collected any of that stuff, they would keep them, or they, certain people on the crew or sponsors or something along those lines. Later in the years with newer stuff, that never happened. They always primarily went out. But you were hunting for the number 1 of the series, because all NASCARs at some point in their lives, they were always embossed with a serial number on the back of them. And they actually called these their DIN. Instead of a VIN, like a VIN number, vehicle identification, is a DIN. So you have a diecast identification number. So, and it had the model, the year, everything else like that. And then it had the number, the production number on the back, say which numbered car you actually got. And so the lower the number, you got a door number where, let's say the number on the VIN matched the door on the side. That was pretty cool. Or if you got a number 1, some guys collected just trying to find the very last one. Let's say they made 3,604. Somebody was trying to find number 3,604. So, yeah.
That's cool.
That translates over to the Hot Wheels world. In fact, you got a last number of a convention car too,
I do.
didn't you?
Yeah, it's got 30 or 5,500 to 5,500. So
Nice.
it's the lifted '83 USA Chevy, the USA one, so to speak, the lifted Chevy one from Atlanta.
Okay. If Hot Wheels could do it, would you like to see a retro line of cars come out? And if so, would you like to see that done on the elite, or not the elite, but on the RLC level, or would you like to see it like on a premium level, and why?
I think it'd be really cool if it would happen, but I feel like it would never happen. And here's the reasoning why. Reasoning why is the simple fact of demand. Your NASCAR collector per se, isn't your average Hot Wheel, per se. Like you couldn't hold a convention for diecast collectors, NASCAR specifically per se. Let's say like you guys have, we have St. Louis coming up, or California, or something like that. You couldn't have something like that. You would have a larger gathering of collectors and dealers and stuff like that. But to hold it for like an entire week, it would be just crazy. And the amount of room somebody would need in order, like you could fill a hotel room. You need like 2 or 3 hotel rooms to fill it up with 1/24 scale. And the amount of the vehicle space to haul it and move it, you can fit in your guys' 55-gallon totes. You guys can fit what? A couple hundred almost maybe in there?
About 400 or 500, yeah.
Okay. I can fit maybe 20. So, if you think about it, and the weight per se, like I've got a stack of totes. I've got like 30, 55-gallon totes that hold just empty boxes.
Yeah, and they're a lot heavier than Hot Wheels as well. So, because
of that aspect. But back to the question per se, yes, I do believe that it would be neat, but like I said, cost-effective wise, I don't think it would ever happen. Would I like to see it? Sweet, yes. I don't necessarily would say it'd be if you were going to do an elite scale or an elite version. I think that would be better for like a red line club. But then, like if you were going to do a premiere, let's say like for your series like this, like your premiere series for say your Boulevard series, you could get away with some of that stuff. I think if you did, because they did do it at one point. Hot Wheels did it where they had the NASCAR collection. They had a bunch of old petties. We've talked about this sometimes, Kent, where they had that run that came. Yeah, they had that run that came out. It was also it wasn't just NASCAR though. It was
It
Yeah,
was
it's a
also
the vintage racing.
yes.
yeah, the Vinning Races collection, and that worked out really well because it was a broader spectrum. The cars were detailed; they were a lot heavier. They're metal on metal chassis, and you pick up one of those cars, there's some weight in there. There's detail in there, and you see those where some of those are really popular, and you see some of those where you can, like some of those petty cars, they're crazy expensive. But then you get other ones in that series where they're literally, filler material per se because nobody wants those other ones per se.
No, you're not wrong on that. I would like to see a premium version done of the Mountain Dew Stalker, the Valvoline Stalker. Those are just classic in and of itself.
Oh yeah,
You know, Earnhardt would be another one I like to see. But I mean, if you wanted to get like on that RLC level, you got to have a Tim Richmond car in there.
well,
You
Tim
know.
Richmond, Neil Bonnet, Petty,
Mm-hmm.
Junior Johnson, Carl Yelbro. I mean, literally, you could go down the whole list of NASCAR Hall of Fame drivers and pick one car per se. You could make something a very similar line per se to what they did come out with those racing legends, and just do it just like that. But if you put it out onto the regular store level per se, though, it's going to be bought up by the resellers, and then it's all going to wind up on eBay. And so
Yep.
it'll be a situation where it's just like everything else nowadays. If you wanted to do it in its own special setup or blah blah blah, then you'd have to do like the RLC style. So you couldn't get away
Yep.
doing something like that in a Boulevard series. You'd have to do it in more of like an RL the what am I trying to think? The collector, the club.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So I've had this question out there, and we'll ask it of all of us. So, um, Brent, you want to go first?
Well, I didn't see the question until just now, so give me a minute and let somebody else go.
Okay. Well, I'll go. So for me, I think my favorite NASCAR movie is obviously Stroker Ace. It's not realistic in the sense of what racing is about, but it's a chance to see exposure in the early 80s when it really needed it. And you get to see some really good drivers when they were young and nobody knew who they were. I mean, there's one scene with Harry Gant and and then there's the Earnhardt, Elliott, Bonnet, Kyle Petty when they push Parker Stevenson's character out the window and into the pool. That's a great scene. But all those guys and what became of them and afterwards was so cool. I think Ricky Rudd's in there too. I mean, Harry Gant got his start because of that movie. I mean, he drove so well. Bobby Hamilton as well when you did Days of Thunder. I mean, but those two guys got a career going out of that. So that's why I say Stroker Ace. Brent, are you ready now?
I mean, I hate to say this because I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of flack for it. I don't think I've actually ever seen Stroker Ace, so
How
It's
is that
okay.
possible? Being the movie guy.
I don't know. That's what I'm
That's
saying. Like, I'm probably going to catch some grief for this, but I don't
that's
think I've
very
Mi-
ever seen
surprising.
it.
New movie to watch.
There
I'll
we
bring it
go.
with me the next
Yeah.
time because you're gonna make me watch Killer Clowns. So
Yes, we are.
You've never seen Killer Clowns, Ken?
Yeah.
no,
See.
no.
Oh,
But now we're going way sideways. But I'm gonna have to go. I mean, Days of Thunder was a great movie. I know this is technically not one of the cars from Days of Thunder because I think this one was. I can't read the signature on it, but it was neat because the behind the scenes information on that movie is that they wanted to be able to film the movie at NASCAR tracks. Well, NASCAR wasn't going to just give them a free pass. They actually had to qualify their cars in order to be in the movie. Like they weren't just given like, okay, yeah, you can just join us. No, these were real races, and they actually had to qualify in order to even shoot the movie. So I always thought that was kind of neat that they actually had to physically qualify in order to even be in the movie. So it was kind of neat. So and there's a lot of fun about it. You've got one of my favorite scenes from that is when they're driving to dinner, and they both have
oh,
their own.
I thought you were gonna say the Hallmark.
No, 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 no. This is a family friendly show. So, but
Well, that's family friendly.
ish.
I
But
think
yeah,
it's based off real events, just in a different sequence.
I don't doubt that in the slightest. But when they're driving to dinner and they both have rental cars and they are driving down the beach, just slamming into each other, and I just think that's one of my favorite parts of that movie. Just watching them slam into each other was a good time. So
There you
Yeah, isn't that that's I know that's a true story, but isn't that between Earnhardt and Jeff Bodine, or is it Earnhardt and Tim Richmond? They were the
go. No, I
story
believe
on
it was
that.
Bodine.
Bodine,
I
yeah, because
believe it
that
was.
was,
Well, that scene per se, that scene was based off Bodine per se. I believe.
yeah.
There was talks. It wasn't. They were actually going to dinner to go meet Mr. France. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken, is how because I listened to the Joe Jr. podcast, the download, and they've actually had several different people on there that were alive and around at that time that actually describe the night's events. Like Richard Childress has done it; he's been on there a couple times, and each time he gives a little bit more of that story every time. Same thing with Mr. Hendricks, because obviously him being I think Bodine's a car owner at the time versus obviously Earnhardt and Childress being the opposition, being meeting in the haulers, and Bill France Senior coming down and saying, "Boys, you do it again, and you're both gone." And there's no exceptions for that. When Bill Senior talked, everybody listened. So
Now on to you. That was a good story, by the way, as I unmute myself. Uh, now on to you, in your turn. What is your NASCAR movie?
I mean, really, Stroker is Days of Thunder. I mean, to a point, Talladega Nights, just because the comedic aspects of it. Now, let me paraphrase. I do not like Will Ferrell as an actor. I just don't. I don't find the man funny at all. I find the situations that they parodied or make fun of, those are definitely comical aspects. Like putting a cougar in a car and saying, "Here, learn to drive with a cougar in a car." That's awesome. And then obviously bringing the Frenchman in and we're a redneck. Yeah. That's comical. Is it a great NASCAR translation? No, it's not, because obviously we've had those other drivers. Mario Andretti has raced in NASCAR. Other people like that, and literally won crown events per se.
Yeah.
But I really don't have a favorite NASCAR movie. I enjoy all of them. Even like some people say, like the movie Three, the Earnhardt tribute movie. That's a really good one that I enjoy. And some people like, oh my God, that's the most horrible movie on the face of the planet. But I mean, being a really big Earnhardt fan, that was a really good movie for me because it did fill in some gaps of different things that I didn't know about, and it gives some of that aspect. but then they did the other Earnhardt movie, the tribute movie, which was not with that actor, but it was actually done, I believe, I think it was done with Chodros' involvement, and so that was a much better historical aspect of the Earnhardt family and the name and stuff like that. And then, so there's been definitely wonderful, great movies over the years. I know I'm missing quite a few of them. There was one with, oh God, what was that guy's name? Who did The Gambler? Name escapes me.
You're talking about Kenny Rogers and Six Pack.
Rogers. What movie was that one? He did a
Six Pack. Six Pack.
That's another fantastic movie. That's a great one. Most people don't think about that one. So there's definitely lots of great movies out there. You muted yourself again.
Yeah. Well, I have been, because it's helping us with the audio background. So.
Oh.
Well, you're just when you're back like this, you're a little quiet. So when you move forward, it's fine.
Forward. All right. Well, y'all need to tell me these things.
All right. So I want to talk. Jim brought up a great movie that I just thought about. It is it's Grease Lightning, I think, is the name of it, with Richard Pryor, that talks about Wendell Scott. That's a great movie.
That was another good one too. That's definitely an unknown or an unrecognized one.
Yeah, definitely. That is a great movie with Pam Grier in it. It's a great story. I'm glad that Wendell finally is getting some recognition for his contributions in the cup racing. All right, so that was an add-on question, folks. Moving on, we're going to go back to the Hot Wheels side of things. And Jim, that was a great point out for that movie as well. Do you remember your first Super Treasure Hunt?
I don't have to remember because I still have them. So, first one I got, I believe, was the On the Pegs, because it still has the price tag. I paid a whopping 49 cents for it. I believe this would have been Target, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's an old Target tag per se. And then it would have been, what started it would have been the Purple Passion in the Super. Literally got, I think, the same day, I believe, or relatively close to. So
they were, I don't know if it was the same day. I know they were really close to each other.
Actually, and I'm almost wondering, I think the Purple Passion actually came from Richmond Gordman.
Or J.C. Penney, possibly.
No, it wasn't Penny's. It was Gordman's, because they had a very small Hot Wheels section off to the side, back by the animal, the climbing, the elephant, and the kangaroo.
Yeah, the playground.
Like
yeah,
the playground area. They had a small Hot Wheels section, and there was only like 6 cars hanging on there, and one of them, if I'm not mistaken, was the Passion.
There you go.
So that's a little history for anybody that remembers Richmond Gordman.
Yeah. I just got that Passion lately, and that's a rabbit hole I've been going down too. Brent's watched me pick some of those up, so
yes, I have.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, moving on here. Now the big question, and I think I know the answer to this: carded or loose?
It's a little bit of both. I'm a both guy. Obviously, I have plenty that are out of the box. I'm kind of like my brother. I like to play with cars, and no one never not say that. I'm old enough to realize that, yes, I still like to play with cars. But at the same time, I still have, obviously, as you can see, there's a lot that is still carded. And this is just what's hanging up. It doesn't include everything that's in boxes that's back around the corner, because, well, I don't have the room for it.
I understand the not having the room thing, and you can only display so much before you're out of it. And I mean, by no means am I out of room, but the way it's set up is, I like it the way it is. And if I bring too much stuff in here, it's just going to kind of ruin the vibe. So
we've had that conversation.
And I will give my brother credit for that. This is his, what I originally planned on doing is well, there was going to be a lot more in this room than it currently is. And he goes, sometimes keeping it simple is a little bit better. And I got to admit, I still would love to add, I'm still going to add some things to this room, but, you know, he pretty much said, don't put too much in there because you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to miss things. So I definitely understand with the not having space, and just because you have the space, don't flood it. So,
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those situations where you still have to be happy in the space. You can't go into a space.
hmm
Sure, that over initial reaction of, oh my God, there's a lot in here. But you as a collector are like, no, there's not. There's nothing in here. Oh my God, I could put literally 10 times more stuff in here. But then it's just like, where do you start and where do you stop versus like what's enjoyable and what's appealing. And if obviously in Brent's situation, he's got his basement, that's his place. I have to share my space with other beings per se, and they're super crazy about everything that is part of my collection. So you gotta kind of sometimes, like you said, less is better. Sometimes enjoy what you have. Plus, it gives you that opportunity to take things out, put things in, change things up, and then it
rotate.
makes it more fun for yourself.
Yep, you can rotate things in and out, and I have done that since I put these cases up. I've been moving things around and adding things and taking things away. And every time I open something, it's like, ooh, where can this go? So yeah, I definitely get the rotating of the stock. So
Yeah, but I keep damaging stuff when I do that, so I try
That
not
sounds like
to.
a personal problem.
that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jim has already beat us to it, so I'm just going to throw it up there again. Um, Honestly, I think this question is going to be unique because of the way you have your collection displayed for the vast majority of it. And I've been down to your room, and when we put this up there, are you able to be mobile a little bit and kind of walk around? Okay,
I can do that.
because that'll help explain everything here. All
I can
right,
do that.
so there it is. Jim beat us to it again. But which way do you display loose cars?
Okay. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. I gotta at least make a path. I had a
I
path.
already know that I'm going to lose this one, so
I had a path, but I had to cover it up a little bit here. So, all right. Do this one like that. Put that. Bear with me. Okay. So up here, you can kind of see. I don't know if it's fair or not, but
Yeah,
obviously in
you're
the
good.
center, things are straight. When you get over here to this side, things angle this way. Then you come over here, things angle this way. So I'm one of those guys where I like to use the shelf per se. Um, let me get over here. This will be like turn the. Can I turn my camera around on this? I don't think I can. Okay,
You
bear with me.
can, I think you can. It's just you can, but it's a pain in the butt.
Okay, sounds great.
You have to
But
go into settings, and
but
yeah,
for
you can
me,
change it, but it's a pain.
in order for me to display what I have, it has to be more of a situation where everything is straight. Because if you try to go sideways, you're never able to display everything. Now, granted, at the bottom, per se, you can get a little bit of a fan out because you have the space and stuff like that. But for everything else, it's got to be straight. Now, like up here, I've angled some direction, and some are angled the other direction to help make it fit, per se. But
I get what Ken's trying to
this,
do.
this case here, I don't know if
Yeah.
you can hear any of this or not.
Yes, you can, Brian. You're good.
Okay. But like you can see, like center section and then left and right. And then even, let's say, over here, you can get it left, right, or in this situation, I have it in a display setup where one case faces one direction and the other case faces the other direction. So you kind of get it to where I'm more of a display guy to where I like both versus one way or the other for you guys because, well, it's easier for me to display most of my stuff straightwise.
Yes, it takes up less space. So
yes,
100% makes way more sense for those to be straight than these.
But for most Hot Wheels, though, I'm going to say I want to see passenger side out. Sorry. That's just the way it is. It's the past, just the way it sits in the card. It's the way it's, I'm sorry, Kent. It happens. I know. But, I think just having it that side out, just, it works a little bit better that way for me.
I like your decision.
Yeah. All right. So really, I think that's about it. We'll got a couple of things here before we go. We're going to throw that back up there. And we're going to share this screen out for just a second. Let's see here so we can talk about this because we really haven't done that yet.
Well, and while he's figuring out what he's trying to do, I was going to minimize whatever that is. I was just going to say, this was another one of my additions from this weekend.
The Earnhardt number 30 Army car. Very
nice.
Yep.
50 cents. So.
Great deal.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh, yeah, this weekend.
Next weekend.
Oh, yes, next weekend. Sorry.
That's all right. You're not the first one to say that. Next weekend, we will be out in Elmwood to do our show for everybody. We really would like everybody to come out and attend, whether it is as a vendor or as a guest. And I will tell you that we are at 62 tables, so we went over. We found some room for a couple folks, but we are at max capacity.
Definitely.
So much so that we've got 3 people on the waiting list right now. So it's great. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do our 50-50 split raffle as well. Troy and Becky are going to have some great food. I'm sure it'll be pulled pork or sloppy joes, something along those lines. Go patronage them, support them because they support us.
And it's great food.
Yeah.
Hands down. It's great food.
We're going to be there Saturday at 1 to put up tables. So if anybody that would like to come help us, we would greatly appreciate it. So we can go ahead and do that. And then once that's done, we're going to be there from, I think, roughly about 2 until 4-ish right now. So if you want to come put your stuff out, you can do that. Don't worry. It's in a nice, locked, safe place. There's cameras there. So you shouldn't have to worry about anything like that.
Nope.
At all. Troy and Becky do a great job with that as well. So there's our plug for next week. We'll have more about the show next week as well because we will always have details to add to it, I'm sure. Jim wants to know if he can come tour your room.
It's always open for visitors. I don't have a problem with that. That's the whole point of why you do it is you like to show stuff off at times. For somebody to, there's not a lot of NASCAR collectors per se out there. So when you find somebody that's interested, it's always not a bad idea.
All right, great deal. Okay, so we're to that point in the show where carnage has to happen.
Doesn't have to.
Well,
but if you want to.
It's not a required. We like to do it, So it's been a NASCAR sort of themed night, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to rip some cup cars. At least I know I am.
Wow, there you go.
Or not.
Apparently that was cut short pretty quick. I don't know about that.
I don't know what just happened there, but I don't know if we lost him altogether or what happened there.
He disappeared just a little bit ago as well.
He did, but this seems like it might be a little bit more permanent. I'm not really sure what exactly he did on this end. But while we wait for Kent to come back, I don't have NASCAR per se, but I do have some vintage racing.
Oh, hey, there we go.
But it's Vintage Racing Club. It is the newest
that's
set.
A good one.
Yeah, it's the newest set of the vintage racing kind of. So we're gonna pop a couple of these puppies free. This one is the 240. If I can get it out. This is the custom Datsun 240Z, and it is done up with the Datsun livery, so it's good looking ride.
Pretty sharp looking car.
Yeah,
Make a really good custom with some different wheels on it.
I don't hate those wheels, to be completely honest.
Uh,
I don't know why, but I like those wheels. So then, to stick with it, we've got the custom Ford Maverick.
okay. Hey,
So,
we're back.
hey, look who joined the show again. This is the
You hit the wrong button again, I want to say.
And see, this is the greatest. This is the greatest thing about live is you have people falling off the screen. You have people talking over muted mics. It makes for a good time.
I think
So,
Ken's covered all three bases of that so far tonight.
oh yes, he has. So now we've got the '69 Ford Mustang Boss 302.
Good Lord, you're gonna rip the whole set while you're.
I'm gonna rip the whole set.
Is this literally gonna become here we are with? Oh, it's another Datsun 510 Bluebird. Oh,
No.
it's another Datsun Bluebird 510. No, could it
No.
be another Datsun?
No, we are not because that was the Mustang, and now we have the Toyota 2000 GT. There's only 5 in the set, so But the funny thing is that you bring up that Datsun. There was something very similar to that actually just happened about a month ago. So, and for those that are watching,
looking forward to that in the future at some point.
exactly, there's going to be another project
cute
coming out.
Plug thrown in there for you.
Yeah,
guys. How about
and
that?
and this one was my this is my favorite one, and I want to find another one just because I want to have it carded too because I really like the card art. But we have the '62 Corvette. I really like this car. And it's actually, I know I say this all the time, but it's one of my favorite castings. I really do like the 62 Vets. I just think that they did a really good job with them. And it's the best number on the planet next to 13. So it's my birthday.
Because it has one of them. There's not 3 of them in a row. So technically it's not the best number.
Well, my birthday is the 6th, Brian.
Oh, okay. All right. If you want to go that route, okay.
6 is a big number for him.
Yes. 6, 13.
Okay.
Happy numbers.
So as long as I don't drop these anymore, we should be good. Days of Thunder, and I like this version.
Are you?
Yeah, we're going to open those. I like this version better because it's the flat-nosed Lumina, not the Pontiac Grand Prix version.
All right.
And not the Hardee's version, if you remember those, the small plastic ones.
All right.
Although I had the City Chevy one. This one must have fallen off at one point. It's on there with staples.
Very nice.
Yeah, there we go.
I remember I had a couple of team transports of those, which I think have mysteriously left my collection and gone somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know where those went because I remember I think I had one of those, and I think I had that number 42 one as well.
Well, then they're probably somewhere. They might be still at Mom's because I don't have any team transports of those.
Really?
And I know which ones you're referring to. You're talking about the Matchbox haulers with the van or whatever.
Yep.
No, I do not have those. So who knows? They might be behind you somewhere too.
This is a really, really great set overall.
It's actually quite a hard set to acquire per se with good cards per se. So I'm kind of surprised you're popping.
Well,
hi, Brian. This is Kent. Have you met Kent, Brian?
I know. I'm just surprised he didn't find something that wasn't as mint to pop.
Oh,
Well, no, these aren't mint at all because this blister is blown out.
Oh, okay.
The Hardee's one was stapled.
So this would have been the style like I was talking about, where it was the Matchbox hauler.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It had the movie cars on there per se, and I don't remember if it had the extra car like some of these do. That also have like the. I got another really cool one here, which I really enjoyed. Was the you don't see many of these.
No.
The Alan Quick version with the Team Convoy. So
with the test car too.
Cool, and you don't see very many of those at all. So
I have the semi of that.
Got it.
I do not have that one though. I have the semi of Allen's, but not the transport.
I love the suspensions on these cars. They're so much better than the
That's
Hot Wheels
because they're
ones.
not Hot Wheels.
That's true.
This is very true.
But yeah, the only one I'm missing now out of this set is the Exxon one. Is Rowdy's
The
car.
black one. The black number
Yeah.
50.
Yeah. Not the mellow yellow, but the Exxon. So
Yep.
got to find that. I got lucky. I found all three of these for $5 a piece. I was real happy with that.
Okay,
That's a deal.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
No.
So, all right. Let's see here. I got
Two more? 2 or 3? Huh?
So we'll start
Go
with,
big or go home.
Well, these are all they're not fancy cars per se. We'll start with this guy here. I really like this casting. I think it's super cool.
Fish and chipped.
Fish and chipped, yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't have the ripper.
Yeah, bring it up. Bring it up.
I don't have the ripper. Oh wait, look at that! It's got one of those little things on the back.
You're channeling Kent.
Disappointed. It's super. It's super light. Like it's all plastic. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
this thing is. This thing got a hard life. This one's got a great big old scratch in the roof, and then it's got a great big dent, almost like
it's got the rivet dent.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really crap. Anyways, whatever. We'll put that in the box. Let's see here. We'll go with the next one here. We're gonna go with the purple passion. Gotta have one of these loose for the rest of the collection here. Let's see here. Open this one up here. So
I think he's watched me before.
Pretty purple.
Yeah. I love that car.
I like how they did that one. And I really like the wheels on this one. They didn't do that on the wheels. Hold on. Let me do the Brent. Hold on. Okay.
You got to make sure they roll, man.
Yeah. And
I think we're being made fun of.
This is going to be like my new favorite casting, I think, of all time. I'm super excited to see what they come out with for the other two versions of it, but it's got to be this, man. Oh my God, this Chevette is fantastic. I mean, this is straight out of the Hot Rod magazine. I mean, the NHRA. I mean, this is. I mean, if you grew up NHRA in the 80s and 90s and all this like grabs right here. I mean, I'm gonna find more of these, many more of these. Might have to get a hold of Nick, see if Nick wants to make a couple customs, because I can think of couple different. I mean, I've really been happy with a lot of what they've been coming up with lately. Between like this one and there's the Thunderbirds that they just came out with recently. Yep, that's beautiful.
I knew where you were going with that one as soon as I heard it.
A model of that somewhere in my. I also did models for a whole bunch of time. I've got one of those somewhere.
If it's not at your place, then it is at Mom's, because
I think it's here because I have an entire tote.
Yeah.
Somewhere. It's a GM parts tote too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. Oh, you open that? Oh, I need to find. Oh, I need somebody to help me find another one so that I can see. I can get one of those lives. But this is just.
Kent, you're muted again.
Womp womp.
Do we still have one of these?
Possibly.
Oh,
that's what I thought.
You might have a buyer. Maybe Elmwood show. How about that? Anyway.
Yeah. We'll see.
This is fantastic. I cannot wait to see what they do with the other versions of this, and then I will have one or two that I'm gonna have to buy some wheels, skinny wheels, and some tubs, and it's gonna be legit. So that's exciting. So I'm really excited about that one.
And I want to say that's not the first time they've used that casting mold.
Nope. Cool Classics.
Purple. I was gonna say I think there's a green one in the Cool Classics series.
Green,
it's green. That's what I thought.
Been out in a while though, correct?
No, Cool Classics would have been like 17.
Really?
16. Older, 15 or 16.
Wow, I must have missed that one completely because I don't remember that at all.
Oh, I got something for you too.
Oh, is that it?
No, that's
the Target Red.
That's a Target Red.
Oh, I I do have that in a Target Red. You're right. I do have that, I think.
Yeah.
Have that one. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think I do have that somewhere. It's probably in a box somewhere.
Flip.
Have out anymore.
Oh, I thought I was on something, and I thought I was on Evil Bay, and I was on Facebook, and I just did a whole lot of work for nothing. That was fun.
You didn't buy anything in Thompson's, huh?
No.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I can thank Miss Deb for this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
right?
Deb did transport those back to Nebraska.
This is fantastic. Oh, this is so sweet.
Yeah, and that was actually bought in the Mafia's room.
Was it really?
Yes, that is from the Hot Wheel Mafia.
All I know is I got a text that says yes or no, and I couldn't hit yes fast enough.
Yeah. Oh, we were both wrong. Nope, that's the wrong one. Never mind. Just ignore me.
We usually we don't.
I pulled a Kent. I dropped something. Oh wait, it's Jeff Gordon. He's used to.
Yeah. Jeff Gordon bad.
Jeff Gordon.
Earnhardt good.
Earnhardt good. I'm just sitting here looking around at different stuff, like and they've had other stuff with NASCAR stuff where like Penske got involved with the school buses.
Yeah.
And then they also got involved with the drag buses. So.
And Brent.
Is that green? Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, it's
that was a okay, I got to find those. Looks like I'm looking for a few things at Elmwood.
Yeah, that's the Spectre Frost. So, and we'll try to help out with anything we can. So.
All right, folks. That's all we've got for tonight. Otherwise, this show's going to ramble on for another hour and a half if we're not careful.
Is there something wrong with that?
Well,
no.
I
do have other things I have to get done yet tonight. So.
All right.
But don't hang up, Brian. After we sign off here, and we'll finish up real quick. So.
I can do that.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We love the comments and the questions. We will see you next week with another episode as we obviously preview Elmwood. And we'll have someone else. Maybe we're not sure yet.
It's next weekend, right?
Next weekend, yeah, the 6th.
Okay, I gotta double check. We might have
Yeah. Damn it!
Year, it's taken off like crazy. So
I know. I'm glad we got you in because it was like getting close to the end. All right, folks, that's all we've got for you tonight. Have fun, be safe, be kind to each other out there, and help some folks out when you can. All right, we'll see you next week or out on the pegs or at a show near you. All right, have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Happy hunting. And yes, James, Des Moines is the